Welcome back. Let's make the life in the UK test simple and clear. Today, we are going through 24 full exam-style questions. But this is not just revision. This is structure. This is pattern recognition. This is training your brain to think the way the exam thinks. For every question, you will see the full question, all answer options, the correct answer, a memory anchor, and a related exam variation. Take a breath. Let's begin. Most candidates don't fail because the test is difficult. They fail because they memorize without structure. They remember dates, they remember names, but they don't see connections. Today, we build connections. Once your brain sees structure, anxiety drops. And when anxiety drops, performance rises. Now let's start with question 1. Question 1. Who became the first athlete in 1954 to complete a mile in less than 4 minutes? A. Sir Mo Farah. B. Sir Chris Hoy. C. Sir Roger Bannister. D. Sir Francis Chichester. Read the question carefully. Pause the video if you need to. Choose A, B, C or D. Lock your answer in. The correct answer is C, Sir Roger Bannister. In 1954, people believed it was physically impossible to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Doctors said it couldn't be done. Then Bannister did it. This question tests more than sport. It tests a symbolic British achievement. Now look at the wrong answers. Sir Mo Farah, famous runner, but not 1954 and not the first under 4 minutes. Sir Chris Hoy, cyclist. Sir Francis Chichester, sailor. The exam deliberately mixes famous names. It tests precision. Now let's anchor it. Bannister, break, barrier, 3 Bs. Now imagine a giant glowing number 4 cracking into pieces as he runs through it. See it clearly. That image will attach itself to 1954. Related exam variation. Who broke the 4-minute mile record? Sir Roger Bannister. Now it's locked. Question 2. How many wives did King Henry VIII marry during his lifetime? A. 1. B. 4. C. 6. D. 8. Pause. Choose carefully. Don't guess. Think about the Tudor period. Lock it in. Correct answer, C. 6. Henry VIII had 6 wives, but this question is not just about counting. It connects to one of the most important events in English history. Henry wanted to annul his marriage. The Pope refused, so Henry broke from Rome. He created the Church of England. This is monarchy plus religion plus political power. The exam tests that combination frequently. Let's encode it rhythmically. Divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived, DBD, DBS. Say it slowly. Rhythm creates grouping. Grouping reduces panic. Related variation. Why did Henry VIII separate from the Catholic Church? To control the church in England and end his marriage. One fact unlocks another. Question 3. The Six Nations Championship is played in which sport? A. Football. B. Cricket. C. Tennis. D. Rugby union. Pause again. This is a cultural tradition question. Choose carefully. Correct answer, D. Rugby union. The Six Nations is a rugby union competition. The 6 countries are England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, France, Italy. Important detail, it is Ireland, not Northern Ireland. The exam tests precision. Football has different tournaments. Cricket has the Ashes. Tennis has Wimbledon. Different competitions. Now let's make it unforgettable. Imagine a muddy rugby pitch, a French fan laughing loudly, a Scottish student shouting, a Welsh dragon flag waving, an Irish shamrock glowing, an English fan eating loudly, an Italian fan holding melting ice cream. It's absurd. That's why it works. Related variation. Name 2 countries in the 6 nations. Now you can name all 6. Question 4. Which description best reflects life during the Middle Ages? A. A time of peace and economic growth. B. A time of frequent warfare. Read it carefully. This question is not about dates. It is about characteristics. Choose A or B. Lock it in. Correct answer: B. A time of frequent warfare. The Middle Ages was not a peaceful golden age. It was unstable. It included the 100 Years' War, the Crusades, constant territorial conflict. When the exam tests a historical period, it tests its character. Now, let's encode that. Don't memorize paragraphs, memorize symbols, castles, knights, war. When you see Middle Ages, your brain should see armor and fire, not peace. Related variation. Name 1 conflict during the Middle Ages. Answer: the 100 Years' War. Simple. Lock. Question 5. Which 2 responsibilities belong to the UK head of state? A. To appoint the democratically elected government. B. To open the new parliamentary session each year. C. To raise new taxes. D. To lead the armed forces into battle. This is a constitutional understanding question. Pause. Choose carefully 2 answers. Correct answers: A and B. The monarch appoints the Prime Minister. The monarch formally opens Parliament. But taxes are set by Parliament. And modern monarchs do not personally lead troops into battle. This is where many candidates confuse symbolism with power. Now encode this clearly. Repeat this. Crown equals ceremony, not control. This protects you from future trap questions about monarchy power. Related variation. Who is the UK head of state? Answer: the monarch. And what does the monarch not do? Set taxes. Now your understanding is structural. Question 6. Which statement correctly identifies the countries that form the United Kingdom? A. England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. B. England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. This is one of the most common mistakes in the entire test. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer: B. The United Kingdom includes England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Ireland is separate. This is a classic trap. Candidates rush. They see Ireland and think it's correct. Precision matters. Now let's encode this visually. Visualize 4 blocks: England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. That is the UK. Remove Northern Ireland, you get Great Britain. When your brain sees a map, confusion disappears. Related variation. What is Great Britain? England, Scotland and Wales. Lock. Question 7. Which British sportswoman has won a total of 16 Paralympic medals, including 11 golds? A. Lewis Hamilton. B. Baroness Tanni Grey-Thompson. C. Dame Kelly Holmes. D. Dame Ellen MacArthur. Notice something. The exam is returning to sport. Themes repeat. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer: B. Baroness Tanni Grey-Thompson. Baroness Tanni Grey-Thompson is one of Britain's most successful Paralympians. Now, look at the distractors. Lewis Hamilton, Formula 1 driver. Dame Kelly Holmes, Olympic runner. Dame Ellen MacArthur, sailor. All real, all famous, all wrong. The exam loves mixing categories. Now let's encode her properly. Picture her surrounded by 16 shining medals. Tanni equals trophies. Short, visual, permanent. Related variation. What are the Paralympics? A sporting event for athletes with disabilities. Theme reinforced. Perfect. We continue. We now move into a very important cluster. Victorian Britain, cultural contributors, the Blitz, civic responsibility. These themes repeat frequently in the real test. Question 8. In which historical period did Isambard Kingdom Brunel and Florence Nightingale live? A. Victorian, B. Tudor, C. Middle Ages, D. The 21st century. This is a historical era recognition question. It tests whether you can connect people to time periods. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer, A. Victorian. Brunel and Nightingale lived during the reign of Queen Victoria. The Victorian era was a time of industrial expansion, engineering breakthroughs, social reform. Brunel built railways and bridges. Florence Nightingale transformed nursing during the Crimean War. Now notice the pattern. The exam tests person to era, not just facts, connections. When you see Victorian, your brain should see steam trains and hospitals, industrial growth plus reform. Related variation. Who improved nursing during the Crimean War? Florence Nightingale. One connection unlocks another. Question 9. Which statement about Sir Terence Conran is accurate? A. Sir Terence Conran was a 20th century fashion designer. B. Sir Terence Conran was a 20th century interior designer. This is a modern cultural contributor question. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer, B. Interior designer. Sir Terence Conran was an interior designer. He founded Habitat and influenced modern home design. The exam occasionally tests modern British cultural figures. Notice something again? The distractor is close. Fashion designer, interior designer. Close, but different. The exam tests precision. Say it once. Conran equals contemporary room, short, clear, permanent. Question 10. What does the term the Blitz describe? A. Britain's departure from the EUB, a supersonic airliner. C. Nighttime bombings of British cities during the Second World War. D. A nickname for the first jet engine. This is a World War II question. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer, C. Nighttime bombings during World War II. The Blitz refers to German air raids on British cities between 1940 and 1941. London was heavily bombed. Coventry was heavily bombed. This is a high-frequency World War II topic. Now look at the wrong answers. Brexit is modern politics. Supersonic airliner refers to Concorde. Jet engine is unrelated. The exam deliberately mixes historic and modern terms. Precision protects you. Blitz equals bombs at night. See the dark sky, hear the sirens. Now attach 1940 to 41 to that image. Related variations. Which war is the Blitz associated with? The Second World War. Who carried out the Blitz? Germany. Which cities were bombed? London and Coventry. Now you see how one concept expands into multiple possible questions. Question 11. True or false? Taking part in local and national elections is considered a responsibility of UK citizens. A. True. B. False. This is a civic responsibility question. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer. A. True. Voting in the UK is not compulsory, but it is considered a civic responsibility. The exam tests democratic values. Now let's encode that. When you see citizen, think rights plus responsibilities. Voting is part of responsible citizenship. Related variation. What is one responsibility of a UK citizen? To vote in elections. Simple, structural, permanent. Perfect. We continue. This section is important because it covers national institutions, age rules, very common in the test, language influence, religious wars. These are recurring exam themes. Question 12. What is the main source of funding for the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC? A. Money raised from TV licenses. B. Sponsorship by large companies. C. Advertising revenue. D. Charitable donation. This is a national institution question. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer. A. Money raised from TV licenses. The BBC is funded primarily by the TV licence fee. This makes it different from commercial channels. Now look at the distractors. Sponsorship? No. Advertising? That's ITV. Donations? Not the main source. The exam tests whether you understand how national institutions function. Use contrast memory. BBC equals licence fee. BBC does not equal advertising. Opposites create clarity. Related variation. Why is the BBC different from commercial television? Because it is funded mainly by the TV licence fee. Question 13. What is the minimum age required to become a candidate for public office? A. 16. B. 18. C. 21. D. 25. This is a civic structure question. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer. B. 18. You must be 18 years old to stand for election. Notice something important. The exam repeats the number 18 frequently. Voting age, standing age, adulthood. This is structural repetition. Whenever you see political age questions, think 18 equals full civic participation. Related variation. What is the minimum voting age in the UK? One number protects multiple questions. Question 14. In medieval England, which two languages were widely spoken? A. Anglo-Saxon. B. Welsh. C. Danish. D. Norman French. This is a history plus language question. Pause. Choose carefully. Two answers. Correct answers. A. Anglo-Saxon and D. Norman French. After 1066, when the Normans conquered England, the ruling class spoke Norman French. Ordinary people spoke Anglo-Saxon. This shaped modern English. Welsh was regional. Danish relates to earlier Viking influence. The exam wants the dominant structure. Attach 1066 to language change. When you see 1066, think Normans, French influence. Related variation. What happened in 1066? The Norman conquest. Notice how dates connect to themes. Question 15. Which statement about the legal voting age is correct? A. Citizens must be at least 18 to vote. B. Citizens must be at least 21 to vote. This reinforces what we just encoded. Pause. Choose. Correct answer. A. 18. Again, 18. Notice how the exam reinforces certain anchors. Repetition equals importance. Now let's move to religious conflict. Question 16. What was the main purpose of the Crusades? A. A fleet of ships sent from Spain to attack England. B. The dissolution of the monasteries. C. The civil war between king and parliament. D. The fight for control of the Holy Land. This is a Middle Ages religious war question. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer. D. The fight for control of the Holy Land. The Crusades were fought mainly to gain control of Jerusalem and the Holy Land. Now look at the distractors. Spanish fleet refers to the Armada. Dissolution of monasteries relates to Henry VIII. Civil war relates to Charles I. The exam mixes events from different centuries. You must separate them clearly. Cross equals Crusades. Crusades equal Jerusalem. Short, visual, permanent. Related variation. What was the Holy Land? Jerusalem and surrounding sacred areas. Question 17. True or false? the Proms is a summer festival dedicated to orchestral music? A. True. B. False. This is a British cultural knowledge question. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer: A. True. The Proms is an annual classical music festival held in the summer. It celebrates orchestral music. The exam often tests cultural identity, not just politics. Now, encode it clearly. When you hear Proms, think summer, orchestra, formal concert hall. Related variation. What type of event is the Proms? A classical music festival. Question 18. Which UK city is particularly known for its Diwali celebrations? A. Birmingham. B. Slough. C. Leicester. D. Plymouth. This question tests multicultural Britain. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer: C. Leicester. Leicester hosts one of the largest Diwali celebrations outside India. The exam tests religious diversity. Now encode it visually. Leicester Lights. Diwali is also known as the Festival of Lights. Short phrase, strong association. Related variation. What is Diwali also known as? The Festival of Lights. Question 19. True or false? England has its own devolved parliament. A. True. B. False. This is a devolution structure question. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer: B. False. England does not have its own devolved parliament. Scotland does. Wales does. Northern Ireland does. England does not. This is a common confusion point. Repeat this mentally. Devolution applies to 3, not 4. England is governed by the UK Parliament. Related variation: which countries have devolved governments? Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Question 20. According to Charles I, what principle justified his authority as king? A. Democracy. B. Communism. C. Religious virtue. D. The divine right of kings. This is an English Civil War theme. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer: D. The divine right of kings. Charles I believed that kings were chosen by God. He believed Parliament should not challenge him. This belief led to conflict and eventually the English Civil War. Now encode it clearly. Divine right equals God chooses the king. Simple. Related variation. What major conflict was linked to Charles I's rule? The English Civil War. Question 21. True or false? Police and crime commissioners help determine local policing budgets. A. True. B. False. This is modern governance. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer: A. True. Police and crime commissioners oversee local policing priorities and budgets. This is about accountability and public oversight. Now encode it. PCC equals policing priorities and budget. Simple structural memory. Related variation. What is one role of the police? To prevent crime and protect the public. Question 22. Which historical event occurred in the year 1314? A. The Romans invaded Britain. B. The First World War began. C. The Battle of Bannockburn. D. King John signed the Magna Carta. This is a key date question. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer: C. The Battle of Bannockburn. In 1314, Robert the Bruce led the Scottish army to victory at Bannockburn. This is a key medieval date. Now let's encode the number visually. See the number 3 as flames. See the number 4 as a sword. Flames plus sword equals battle. 1314 equals Bannockburn. Related variation. Who led the Scottish army at Bannockburn? Robert the Bruce. Question 23. Which statement about obtaining a UK driving licence is correct? A. You must pass both a theory test and a practical driving test. B. You must own a car and pass both tests. This is practical living knowledge. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer. A. You must pass both a theory test and a practical test. You do not need to own a car. The exam includes everyday living rules. Now encode it. 2 parts: theory, practical, clear and simple. Question 24. True or false? Members of the Scottish Parliament are elected using only the first past the post system. A. True. B. False. This tests electoral systems. Pause. Choose carefully. Correct answer. B. False. Scotland uses a mixed system called the additional member system. It is not only first past the post. The exam tests structure, not just facts. Now encode it clearly. Scotland equals mixed system. Short phrase, strong anchor. Related variation. Which voting system is used for the Scottish Parliament? The additional member system. Perfect. We now complete the masterclass. This final section is crucial for reinforcing structure, increasing confidence, reducing anxiety, improving retention, creating strong psychological closure, encouraging engagement. This is not rushed. This is strategic. Now that we have completed all 24 questions, I want to show you something important. The test is not random. It rotates themes. If you recognize the themes, the test becomes predictable. Let's look at the core focus areas. Sport appears frequently, but not in detail. It focuses on symbolic achievements, breakthroughs, medals, national competitions. Notice the pattern: achievement plus identity. If you remember the symbolic moments, you're safe. The Tudor period is extremely high frequency. Henry VIII is central. Marriage, religion, authority, monarchy plus church. That combination appears repeatedly. These themes repeat across the test: history, monarchy, religion, war, devolution, institutions, citizenship. Instead of memorizing 300 random facts, focus on the structure behind them. If you want the full breakdown summary list, it's in the pinned comment below. Now let's compress everything. If your brain feels overloaded, reduce it. Remember these 10 anchors: 1066, 1314, 6 wives, UK equals 4 nations, 18 equals vote, BBC equals licence fee, Blitz equals 1940 to 41, divine right equals Charles I, devolution excludes England, crusades equal Holy Land. These 10 anchors connect to dozens of possible exam variations. When your foundation is stable, your confidence rises. And when confidence rises, recall improves. Let me say this clearly. The life in the UK test is predictable. It rotates themes. It tests structure. It tests clarity. It does not test trick questions. If you prepare structurally, you will pass calmly. Not by panic, not by cramming, by pattern recognition. Before we close, I want to ask you something. Which question did you find hardest? Write the number in the comments. When you identify weakness, you remove it. And if this lesson helped you see the structure more clearly, press like. It helps more candidates find structured preparation instead of random memorization. You can download the free study guide in the pinned comment below. If it helps you pass, you're always welcome to support the channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps this channel grow and continue producing structured lessons like this. Study smart. Pass with confidence. You're closer than you think.